Oh, finally finished Baldurs Gate 3. Wow, what a masterpiece. But I don't know if I'm ready to just do another playthrough. Oh, patch 1. Even then, I mean, I can't believe there'd be anything that would... Alright, here we go. Let's make it happen. Hello, my fellow adventurers! It is an exciting time to be a proud citizen of Baldurs Gate because the first big patch is now here. This is the promised over 1,000 fixes patch, and they really weren't kidding. I don't think I've ever seen more individual changes in a single patch. Actually, maybe ever? Like, across any game? At least not if we're going to go purely by volume. A lot of these are minor, little adjustments, fixes, tweaks that, you know, you probably won't even notice, but will make the game very subtly in the background both feel and, most importantly, especially in Act 3, run better. So, to the specifics then, literally today, hours ago, as of you hearing my words saying these words, patch 1 is live, and it is very much a hefty one. As I said, the over 1,000 is not an exaggeration, and it focuses on bugs, balancing, and flow issues. Basically, everything will just feel better. Your computer will be able to handle the game a little bit better, which is definitely nice too, and you'll have less weird sequence breaking or characters talking about things that haven't happened, or actually now talking about things that have happened, and a lot of it is focused understandably in Act 3, where a lot of this stuff is most prevalent. I do feel for Larian, when you have a game of this scope, no matter how much time you put into testing and double and triple checking, nothing compares to having, you know, like millions of players hammer every possible route you can go through the game. And honestly, really, I applaud the sheer scope of this patch to so quickly address so many issues. So you now got NPCs that won't just randomly spot you when they should be able to, random floating environment stuff, and a lot of aesthetic cleanup, and Shadowheart's final romance scene actually now triggering, which a lot of players were upset that it wasn't.
Yes, I'm a gatekeeper and a hater. I'm also God's favourite princess and the most interesting girl in the world.
I mean, I guess, you know, I don't really have that much sympathy because those players have obviously chosen the wrong person because, you know, Karlach's right there. And talking of Karlach and actually all the other characters, if you're now playing a short race, you'll now get a proper kneel down for various of the romance scenes, so you're not just kind of awkwardly stood there at the huge height mismatch making things look a little bit weirder than they should. So that's very much a nice little change, and yes, we've got a little bit of more polish coming to the game too. Just generally, as I said, things will feel a lot smoother, even if you don't immediately notice it. In kind of the background and subconsciously, you definitely will feel it. But more excitingly than that, we've got patch 2 also immediately right round the corner, and this is where the big performance improvements will happen, where we should finally be able to operate in Act 3 without even the meatiest of computers limping around Baldurs Gate. And we even get some bonus stats to go with this momentous update. 200 million hours of Baldurs Gate, 22,000 years. Guys!
Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
Can we sort it out? This deserves so much more than that! Paladin and Sorcerer remain the most popular classes, with Cleric the least, which is interesting because I imagine while a player Cleric is the least popular, I would go out on a limb and saying most people have Shadowheart in their party who is a Cleric to be some sort of a heal bot, as that's just so useful to have, which definitely might skew things if they count the most represented classes across each person's most common party of 4, but in any case, Human, Elf, and Half-Elf take the races, and Dwarf, Gnome, Githyanki, and Halfling are lagging behind. Dwarf, Gnome, and Halfling, I get people don't generally like to play the mini races, but Githyanki surprises me because they're quite a cool race, but I guess people maybe don't want to clash with Lae'zel. Anyway, all that leaves is the patch notes itself, which, yes, by their very nature, due to a lot of them being story-focused, do contain spoilers, so I'm not going to start just reeling them off on top of, the sheer amount of time it would take to do that, given how minor so many of them are. But, of course, I will link this down below, and you can have a read through if you are so way inclined, and we will have a follow-up later in a couple days, really digging deep into everything that matters, alongside some other exciting news that basically look forward to that. But a lot of the big deal stuff that is kind of really ruining playthroughs has been sorted. Stuff that if you run into, you kind of just hard-walled, or you have to really go out your way or go back in time a fair amount to get it to fix. So that's really nice. The big story flow and logic section is what is good to see here. Just stuff like companions not showing up where they should be, or not existing, or not having dialogue that they should have, and generally everything seems like it's just going to be much better after this. So you've also got a load of balance as well. You're going to get an easier explorer mode, which surprises me because I feel like the game is easy enough as it is, even on Tactician, but that's still very much good to see. And even items are getting the stats changed and reworked, and even the subclasses are getting some buffs too. I really would recommend just giving this a proper little rundown, and even some endgame bosses are getting buffed, which is really good too, because again, as I just said, I feel like the game is a little bit easy once you start reaching the higher levels and your party's a bit min-maxed and you're really going for it, even in Tactician. And then a lot of visual flair, and then very much the cinematic scenes is good to see. A lot of nice polish has gone into these to make them even more impressive and satisfying, and not feel like, wait, what? I feel like something was supposed to happen there? I don't understand. And then we get a few little myths extra, and then now we can start with, the actual main patch notes. So some full-on crashing and hard walls being removed. We've got some multiplayer fixes. Your combat and balance is getting a lot to it going on. Oh, we've got actions and conditions as a main section. You've got your gameplay, like extra XP and things going into that. Some spell functionality. You've got your flow and scripting, so dialogue makes a lot more sense. And the story itself is very much more on point, even though it was already unbelievably on point. But it also sorts like bugs out, like question marks being above a companion's head forever, even though they don't have anything to say. And there is a lot of this. Anyway, your journal is updating correctly now with quests that you actually do have and have progressed and worked on. You've even got a lot of the writing getting changed, improved, and tweaked to make more sense and trigger correctly. Your loot's getting an increase. Your character creations are even getting some bug fixes. Same with the items, and then the UI is getting a load of changes to make everything make a lot more sense and read correctly. Even the maps and the levels are getting both graphical improvements and more camera sensible placements, which is nice, because I found a lot of the time your camera just get like stuck in a roof and you have to sort of wiggle it free, so that's good. Animation jank is being reduced, especially a lot of romance scenes, and that's always a good thing as well. Less bugs as well. And then the art, the same deal. It just I cannot stress enough how big this patch is. A lot of audio bugs are getting removed, though I have not actually had any. Same with special effects, and your visual effects and your cinematics are now going to play correctly in the way that they should, when they should, and not look a bit weird sometimes. A lot of them are under the microscope and now better, and then we get some kind of just little bits that help here and there. Oh, I know, again, nothing specific to point out, because unless it's specifically a applies to you or something that you've run into, you probably won't notice or care, but for the whole health of the game, this is very good, and I just wanted to give you guys a heads up that it is here. I can't wait for the second patch too, with all the performance issues, especially for Act 3, but for now, nicely done, Larian. Like you've enjoyed this, subscribe and hit the bell for more, consider supporting the future channel on Patreon down below, and until we meet again, a goodbye.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.